Hello, everybody. It's me, Angie Clay, your BFF, and I'm back again today with an awesome interview that I've been excited about all day long because I want to be like her. This is Jordan Gill. She is the master at helping overworked women who are women shows become streamlined solopreneurs. She helps 6 and 7 figure business women create strong back ends for their businesses so they can work with less stress. I like that. Back end, help with that, and less stress. I mean, those are two things I really want to implement in my life. So welcome, Jordan.
Yes, thank you so much, Angela, for having me. I don't get to talk about self-care too often, so I'm actually really excited about this interview too. It'll be a different topic for me and not one that, I get the chance to talk about often.
Well, good. I'm glad. Because I know many people will say, well, I don't have a business. And I mean, how does streamlining my business or my life, how could that take stress off of me? When I was thinking about your business, I was thinking about it in my business, aspect of my business, but also if I could streamline things, the techniques that you teach, my life would be less hectic, I believe. So that's why I wanted to have you come on. So if you could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, how you got started?
Yeah, totally. So I'm Jordan, like she said, and I'm the founder of System Saved Me. I've been in business for over 4 years. And it's been a journey, as they say. It's almost more of a personal development journey than any other opportunity in life. And again, like you said, I help streamline solopreneurs, help overworked women shows become streamlined solopreneurs with their back end, specifically service providers who are managing clients and having to manage their business at the same time. And, I started actually working for somebody in the online marketing industry on her team. And she recognized in me that I have a skill to set up systems and processes. And I didn't really know it was a skill at the time. I'm just kind of like, oh, everyone, has their own systems and these are just mine. And she's like, no, this is a different a unique skill that you should really hone. And so I always encourage people that sometimes you can't see what your superpowers are because it's naturally to you, right? It's just well, this is what I do. So doesn't everybody do this? And it's no. And so that was kind of the start of my journey of really understanding that is what I would call a zone of excellence. I believe my zone of genius is really connection and relationships and whatnot. I have a very strong follow-up game. And so from there, I actually became, instead of head of content, which is what I was at the time, I became head of operations, which meant that I would go into the different departments of her business, create a system, and then hire somebody else to come and maintain it. Because I'm an awful maintainer, Angela. You would be like, Jordan is the worst systems person. If I was on your team month to month, you'd be like, trash. And I had to become okay with that because at first I was like, I'm good at systems, but why can't I maintain them? And there's kind of a creator and a maintainer in every industry. You think about people who are they build websites maybe, but they aren't good at the monthly maintenance of websites. They're good at the strategy, the brand direction, all of that stuff. So that's it in websites. The same thing as in systems people. So I'm really good at creating the structure, the framework, etc. I'm not good at maintaining the systems that other people have put in place for me. So
can I ask you a question real quick before you go on? So if people that may be new in business or just say, okay, how could a system work even in my life if I don't have a business, if I want to prep for a business, what exactly is a system? What does that look like?
Yeah, I love that question. A system honestly is chronological steps toward a goal. That's it. As simple, you think of a workout routine, the 5-minute pace, all of those sorts of systems we do every single day. And so I obviously specify in business systems, but really it's a routine, a system, a workflow that achieves a goal. So a 5-minute pace achieves your makeup being done in 5 minutes. A workout routine achieves you burning calories or losing weight. Business systems, generally speaking, have to do with saving you time or making you money, just in a really straightforward and clear response. So that is really a system. It really is that simple. So I know most people think automations, integrations. It's so difficult. But really a system at its like core is just chronological steps toward a goal. And that's it.
Ah, okay. That helped me because I was like a system. I'm thinking I'm sitting in front of this big giant like motherboard computer or something. There's all these flashing lights, and I gotta learn how to put everything together. Yes. Oh, right. Okay.
I think that, and what's also funny is the reason that my business is named System Saved Me is because I'm a very forgetful person. And, I was actually, somebody else named my business that, and now I'm like actually connecting with how that actually all came about. But System saved me from being forgetful. I must have like the smallest short-term memory because I can't hold too much information for a long period of time, or even a short period of time, even like from a couple of days ago. And so systems help me run my business and still be successful and present because things are running without me. And it really is that powerful. And I also want to say that most systems people tend to be like the most forgetful, or like they can't rely on themselves. And so they have to build out of necessity systems to help them maintain business, life, etc. And actually most people's brains are not made to hold that much information. Like we cram in so much information, including, what are we having for dinner? Like, what am I needing to get from the grocery store? When's the last time I had a doctor's appointment? Like, did I call my best friend this month? Like, we got the whole gamut of life stuffed into our brain. And so then when you add business to it, it's a whole nother level of things that you have to think about and remember. And so if you find yourself being frustrated about keeping up with business or keeping up with life, there probably are systems that could help support you and take away some of the tasks or things that you should be doing in your life or business so that you can be more present, which I think presence is the most beautiful gift you can give anyone. And anytime that I'm doing interviews like this, or I'm doing team meetings or stuff like that, like I'm fully present. I do not have notifications on. I do not have craziness going on in my world besides maybe my dog, but I'm very present. And I think that a lot of people are unable to give that gift as often as I am, because they allow everybody else to determine how they should spend their time. And that ain't happening over here. And so it's a muscle. It's a muscle that you have to flex and get used to. And it comes down to even when I'm working, I will have airplane mode on my phone, and I'll tell my family and everybody, I'm on airplane mode for the next 6 hours. So like, just an FYI, turn my phone off and it's all focus time. So again, when then work is done, I'm off of, I don't have email notifications on my phone. I actually don't have Instagram notifications on my phone. I take my personal, I take intentional time when I'm on Instagram, or I take my intentional time when I am working, take my intentional time when I'm with family. It actually is just such a better experience overall when we're in a world where it's just like you have like 17 different devices around you and you're allowing everything else to run your life, which just isn't how I operate.
I think I really need to talk to you today. Cause I'm like, and I was like feeling like, damn, like I'll just take this business and throw it off the cliff. And, I'm just tired of it. Maybe I should just quit, and then when you said, okay, you have business and then you have life and then you're like trying to cram the two. Okay. And let's add a little cherry on top, pandemic, just everything that's going on in the world, just everything beyond the pandemic, it's just like, and then that's added in. So sometimes I think, just the exterior things. And when you said that, I'm like, oh my goodness. It's awesome. I'm like, okay, I need to have a system in place for like dinner or like lunches, because sometimes just trying to figure out, like you said, what's for dinner.
I know. I hate that.
I'm getting those boxes at the door, and I stopped them. So I was like, I'm already at home, like I should just be cooking. And now I'm like, I miss them because I'm like, I already was going there and followed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the steps. So, okay, awesome. So let's talk about self-care. So how do you, a lot of things going in the world, like I said, how do you implement like self-care, maybe using systems in your life? Like how could that look for you and for someone else?
Oh my gosh. Self-care is, I've gotten so much better at it over the course of the 4 years. I find that for me, self-care looks like on the day-to-day, it could be bubble baths or treating myself to Starbucks. In kind of like the monthly or kind of that space, it could be as much as, taking a full day off and puzzle. I like to do jigsaw puzzles. Taking a full day, full weekend to just like do a 500 piece puzzle or 1,000 piece puzzle. And from a quarterly basis is usually I'll take about 2 to 3 days and go to a hotel or I guess get some space and just reflect and have time with God. And I'm a quality time love language person. So I guess that also is very much like how I operate in a lot of ways. And so when I get to spend like that quality time with God, it is a non-negotiable. And when I do not have that, it is a problem. And so maybe I'll skip some of the bubble baths or Starbucks or whatever the case may be, but the intentionality of that 2 to 3 days of space every quarter is absolutely crucial to my business growth, absolutely crucial to my restoration, all of those things. And so, self-care can look so different and for other people. And,
Right.
and I think, we think of the lavish like massages or even stuff like that, which is great. I love massages.
Yeah.
I've not had a massage in so long because of all of this. And I'm like, but I also think self-care can be just rest. And rest can be reading, it can be jigsaw puzzle, it can be a walk, it can be having tea, it can be all sorts of different things, and finding what works for you. And honestly too, self-care is therapy. I absolutely 100% have a therapist. I'm a big fan of people having a therapist because again, being able to find sound counsel in really crazy times is absolutely self-care, because if you think you have to carry all of this weight and figure everything out on your own, that can be a lot. And so I see therapy even as self-care. So that's like a combo pack of what I use for self-care. I've leaned into it the longer I've been in business. Like I said, I wasn't super great at it at the beginning, but as years go on, it's been something that has become very much non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm. I like that. And I like when you said about like quarterly too. So people can implement self-care almost like a system where they could do daily to weekly to monthly to quarterly. And your big quarterly could be like getting in the car and find somewhere you can social distance and go, but it's doable, in some spots. Yes, awesome. So what kind of books do you read to keep you, are you reading something currently that you like or?
I'm a voracious reader. I'm actually a speed reader, and this comes from the fact that when I was younger, my mom would take us to the library, and we would have these kitty litter boxes, and literally like stuff the kitty litter boxes, and we would take them, check them all out, and I would read it in like 3 days. And so that's still, I don't take that many books, but now I'm like a big Kindle reader. However, I still read fairly quickly. I used to go to Barnes and Noble for like maybe 3 to 4 hours, and I would read like 6 books. And these were like business books or whatever the case may be. So I tend to do more nonfiction, but I like to try and dabble into fiction a little bit more because nonfiction, your brain doesn't necessarily shut off, because then it kind of sparks inspiration. But one book that is that I'm excited to dive into but haven't started yet is I think it's called Magdalene Revealed. About Mary Magdalene, and it is how there were books in the Bible that Mary Magdalene had written but never made it into the Bible. And so that's really interesting to me. Obviously I'm a big proponent for women and whatnot, and I think it's such an interesting and intriguing story about how a book that was written by a woman and a semi-prominent woman at that did not make it into the Bible. So that one's interesting. I would say one of my favorite books to recommend if you enjoy business is Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. And that has to do with relationships. And the basis of the book is how this guy started hosting, I think, weekly dinners at his house. and he would invite 5 people, and then those 5 people would invite one other person. And so we got to know a bunch of people, and there were like business partnerships that started at those dinners, or relationships, or all of these different things, and the power of being a connector. And I send out at least 20 introduction emails or DMs every week. Okay. Because people are just always asking, they're like, do you know of a good online business manager? Do you know of a good massage therapist, regular therapist, all sorts of things. And I love doing that. And if I'm not doing that, then, you know, I feel like not lost, but just, I don't feel fulfilled. So that's something that if you really want to get better at managing relationships, following up, again, being really present for those relationships, I would definitely recommend that book. It's a good read.
Okay, Never Eat Alone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, I never heard of that. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
When I get together with people I'm listening to, I'm like, oh, did you know? Or I can help. Or, you know, I'm like always trying to, because you know how it feels to want to do something. Because usually most of the time when I have an idea, if I go to a business counselor, they're like, oh, well, you're ahead of your time. When I wanted to do e-commerce so many years ago, and I was like, oh, I want to do this and that. And they were like, well, that's not even invented yet. So it's kind of like sometimes so it's nice when you talk to other people and they want to do something and you know that you could help them connect. So it's a good feeling.
That is.
So what's the future for your business?
Yes, the future. So I have a plan, primarily self-care plan, to take Q4 off in my business. And what that looks like is not all of a sudden I'm off into the abyss and no one knows that I'm like alive. But it is an intentional rest period from a content creation perspective, and stuff like that. So we're going to be repurposing literally all the content we've created for the past 9 months intentionally. It's all going to be repurposed and created in different ways. And even our podcast interviews, we're completely batching those to be running through Q4. So I'm not having to record any new episodes, and just creating more space and energy for my group coaching program. And that really is the only way that people can work with me when it comes to like VIP days and all that sort of stuff. And by the end of the year, I may not be doing VIP days anymore, mainly because, and I may do maybe one a month. So there may just be a little bit more intentionality behind it. However, I'm really enjoying my group coaching program, and it's just really, I see the power of group coaching programs. I joined my first one in February of this year, and it, like, the community and all of that is just so fun to me. And I just really, in Q4, want to intentionally be really, really present for my group coaching program. And so the new year, who knows? I haven't even thought about it. I'm like, it is July. I can't even.
Exactly. Yeah, so everybody thought of the 2020, like, oh yeah, the roaring 20s, you know. We missed that, you know, we have our own. It's like, COVID is like, I'll show you some roaring.
Exactly. So yeah, that's the kind of personality that I have on the horizon for System Save Me.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting to hear that. Well, awesome. Well, I thank you so kindly for meeting with me. If people want to connect with you and kind of peek into your business and what you're doing and be nosy, where can they find you?
I welcome all creeps because I'm a creep. So if you want to come and hang or DM me, the best place is Instagram. It's so much fun for me to DM, and again, it's all about connection for me. So come check out that. I do have some good IGTVs if you want to like nerd out on systems, or if you just want to like know what I'm about. And but you can also go to my website, which is systemsaveme.com. My Instagram is systemsaveme. I'm systemsaveme everywhere. Yeah, you'll find some good nuggets, some good gems for free or even for small bites. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to meet with us. And we really appreciate everybody else who tuned in. Definitely reach out to Jordan if you want to put systems in place, want to learn more about it. You can go and, like she said, geek out on her podcast, all the good things that she has going on over there. So until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.